Hello, vault dwellers and wastelanders. Fox and Socks here. In today's camp walkthrough, I'll be showing off my portable tent camp build. Unlike my other builds, this camp isn't tied to a particular spot, but designed to be placed anywhere in the world, at any location or workshop of your choosing. The inspiration for this build is the Fallout first tent itself. I wanted to create a camp that you could throw down almost as easily as the first tent, but have it be an expanded version that adds more features such as the crafting stations, which I sorely miss when using the first tent. My tent camp features every crafting station except the chemistry workbench, which is easy enough to place down when the occasion calls for it. My original vision for this expanded tent camp was that once everything was built accordingly, I would blueprint the build, and then when I am living the traveling hobo life in the game, I'd simply be able to slap down that blueprint and have a working, functional camp in seconds. However, for those of you watching who have used the blueprint system, it might not surprise you that this didn't go as easily as I had planned or imagined. However, I was able to get it to work, as I'll show you how when recreating the build after the tour. Whoa, whoa. Stalker, stalker! Sorry about that. This build is also meant to be customizable. Once the base expanded tent camp is laid down, you could easily add a small garden, extra decorations, and water purifiers if you've built it next to water, and anything else you could want to make it more lived in and useful to you. I'll show off the basic version, which is constructed only via blueprints, and a more lived-in version, which has some added decor. So let's get cracking with the walkthrough, and I'll talk a little bit more about the build once we're done with the tour. Alright, that's the tour. As I mentioned at the beginning of the video, I wanted to make a reusable blueprint of the entire camp to make camp building quick and easy. However, I ran into a few snags with the blueprint system. When I originally made a blueprint of everything in the basic expanded tent, the 5 foundations and all the objects you see inside the tent, I found that it would not place. Now, there are many reasons that blueprints may not be placeable, but in my case, the objects inside the tent were the culprits. When I created a blueprint without the items in the tent, the camp was placeable every time. So in order to get things to work, I had to make multiple blueprints. 1 for the basic external structure and 2 to 3 for the tent interior, and place them down one after the other. This was still much faster and easier than building everything from scratch, so I was happy with how it turned out. Separating the interior blueprints from the base structure blueprint actually made the build much more versatile, as I could swap different types of interiors and give my portable tent a slightly different look each time. So if you're interested in recreating something similar for your character, let me show you how it works. Before I launch into the tutorial, let me show you how fast and easy it is to throw down a camp like this once you have the blueprints. First, I'll head over to the Blueprints tab in the Build menu and find the expanded first tent I've already blueprinted. Then, it's just a matter of getting it into the right spot. Since I didn't blueprint the stairs for the sake of versatility, I'll go ahead and add some now. There. Next, I'll head back to the Blueprint tab to find my interior blueprints. I blueprinted 2 different types of interiors to give myself a bit of variety. Let's select the one I didn't already feature in the tour. Once the main interior is placed, I simply add the remaining interior workbenches. Now you can blueprint the whole interior, but I found that it's easier to place when it's been broken up into parts. Last but not least, I need to add a cooking station. I intentionally didn't blueprint this because I wanted part of it to be in the tent and part of it to be out, and that caused some issues with creating the blueprint. And this way I can swap out different styles of cooking stations as I go. Let's add a lantern light for some ambiance. And that's it. A camp built in just under a minute. Now I'll walk you through on how to recreate these blueprints for yourself. First, you'll need to put down some foundations. You create a square using 4 foundations and add a 5th to the front for the porch. And you can also put down some temporary stairs. Once the foundations are placed, navigate to the Miscellaneous tab in the Build menu and locate the large tent. Now you'll need to align the tent over the center spine of the foundation platform. Believe it or not, it's not too finicky to place. Now if you plan to add the turret stands, make sure to leave an equal amount of space on either side of the tent. Head over to the back and make sure your tent is placed far back enough and not crooked. Once that's done, head over to the Defenses tab and select your railings. I like to put the higher fences in the back and the shorter perimeter railings on the sides, but the aesthetic is ultimately up to you. Once the railings are down, you can technically go ahead and blueprint the structure if you want a blank canvas tent every time. But I like to go a step further to save time on future builds by adding a few more features. Now let's start with the turret stands. Now I've already gone ahead and blueprinted these, but as you can see, they aren't hard to construct. Simply put down a narrow resting metal table and pop a turret on top. This works with the tripod turrets if you use a mat, but I prefer the pedestal turrets for a cleaner look. Once you've constructed the stand, select the table and move the whole kit and caboodle into place. Here, just take care that the turret stand isn't touching or intersecting with the tent, as that may create issues down the road when blueprinting. And repeat the process for the other side. Once that's done, you can turn your attention to the power armor porch. You can start by putting down the generator. If you have one of the quiet Vault-Tec Atom Shop generators, that's good to use here, but I'll be doing this tutorial with in-game vanilla items only, to show that Atom Shop items aren't necessary for this build, but if you have them, by all means use and enjoy them. After the generator is down, you'll add your power armor crafting station. Then if you have a scrap box, you can place that down, followed by a regular stash box. That looks good. Then, because I like to see what I'm doing when I'm working on my power armor at night, I like to add the yellow construction light. Because the light can be a little annoying during the day, I also like to add a pylon switch to give myself the option of turning it on and off. If you choose to add the switch, make sure to wire it up properly. First, you wire the generator to the switch, then the switch to the light. Once that's done, you can turn your attention to the small front porch area. Drop down a musical instrument of your choice, though I recommend something in strings. And add a brazier for some ambiance. And if you can find it, maybe add a plant. And that's basically it for the external features. If you like, you can add some extra clutter for aesthetic purposes, but make sure it's not inside the tent and that it doesn't glitch into anything it shouldn't. If you want your tent to have electrical lighting inside, you'll need to add a small power connector to the top of the tent, which I failed to do when recording this video. But it's easy enough to add, and I recommend doing so before creating the blueprint. Just don't wire up the tent prior to blueprinting. Trust me on this one. When you're ready to blueprint the structure, simply remove the stairs, select a foundation, and hold down E to start creating the blueprint. Then hit Z to select the structure. Once the entire structure is highlighted, hit R to create the blueprint, give it a unique name, and hit space to save. And you're done. Now let's test to make sure that blueprinted correctly. Let's remove everything we've built so far and place down the blueprinted version instead. There we go, a clean slate. Now head to the Blueprints tab, find your structure and place it when you're ready. There, it works. Throw down some stairs, and it's back to the way it was when you originally built it. The only thing missing is the cooking station, but as I said before, I like to add this on a case-by-case basis in order to be able to choose a different style of station for variety each time. Now I'll show you how to blueprint the interior structures, and it all begins with a rug. Navigate to the Floor Decor tab in your Build menu and select the biggest rug that you have. I'll be using the regular blue rug in my tutorial, but if you have it, the Grognak Atom Shop rug works best as it covers the most square footage. Once your rug is down, go ahead and select a bed and any other decor you might like. We're going with a rustic theme here. The key here is to make sure everything is touching the rug in some way, so when you select the rug, all the associated objects will move with it. This is commonly referred to as the rug glitch. Pop on at least one workbench of your choice. Here I'll be using the Tinkerer's workbench. Once all your objects are placed, you'll create a blueprint by selecting the rug and then individually selecting each object. You can hit C to grow the selection here, but I don't recommend this as it may accidentally pick up something you didn't intend to blueprint. A good way of keeping track of what you've blueprinted so far is to keep an eye on the blue blueprint budget bar in the upper right-hand corner. The bar will go up as you add objects and go down when you remove them. This way, if you're not sure if you've added an object, simply click on it and watch the bar to see if you've added or removed it. When you're done, create the blueprint and save it under a unique name so you can easily find it again. Now let's double check to see if that worked. Let's find our blueprint and see if we can get it to place. And there it is. Looking good. There it is. The benefit of putting interior objects on a rug is that you'll easily be able to move the object groups around after you place the blueprint. Then go ahead and repeat the process for the remaining interiors, in this case the weapons and armor workbenches. I'm going to go ahead and use a rug for each of these. Feel free to decorate the workbenches before blueprinting them so that your interiors look spiffy every time. Sometimes it helps to set the rug down on some flat ground instead of a foundation, and then to pop the workbench on top. When you select the rug, the workbench should come along for the ride. And there you have it, a blueprintable interior for your tent. I hope you enjoyed this camp walkthrough and build tutorial, and if you'd like to catch the next one, please don't forget to follow and subscribe and hit the little bell notification button to get alerts. I also have a weekly live stream series, The Fallout Fox, an in-character role-playing playthrough of Fallout 76 Wastelanders, streaming every Wednesday at 3:30 Pacific Time. guest starring Stancies as Stan the Wastelander, the companion you wish you could have. If you can't catch the live stream, never fear. I'll be uploading past broadcasts to my YouTube channel. Thank you for joining me today. This is Fox and Socks signing off.